Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I got a review for you guys of the Micro Recon 1. Now this is the spear point version. It also comes in a Tanto version, and to my knowledge it also comes with a painted blade, a black painted blade, but I got mine in just the regular stonewash. Now, before I start, I'm going to give you guys just a little size comparison here between a couple of things. So here's a dime, here is a penny, here is a nickel, here is a quarter. So as you guys can see, here, this is not a very big knife at all. This is actually pretty tiny. In case you guys are wondering, this is about the same size as, so the handle's about the same size as my pinky. The whole thing is almost the same size as my index finger. I have some pretty decent sized hands, so that's pretty impressive. But here's a couple better size comparisons. Here's a Spyderco Bug. Here's the Cold Steel Tough Light Mini. And the Tough Light, which as you can see is just absolutely dwarfing this guy, which is kind of hilarious. This is my house key. Figure that's a good one. Which, by the way, closed, this guy is actually smaller than my house key, which I think is pretty hilarious, actually. Here it is next to another pretty small knife. Here's the Frenzy. and here's the Voyager. Yeah, two small knives that make this guy make this guy look a little small. That was a joke, by the way. Both of these knives are well over 12 inches. And then finally, just because of why not's sake, here's the PM2, just so you guys get a good look. So, yeah, really small knife. Itty-bitty knife. Anyways, without further ado, I'm going to go over what I like and don't like about this knife, and if I can recommend it for you guys. So, right off the bat, what I like about this knife. So, the size is incredible. You get this nice blade that is very, very useful and very good because, I mean, it's basically the size of a box cutter or something like that. But it's the perfect amount of blade to be able to actually do some work. And it gives you just enough handle to get a pretty decent grip on it. And the size, the size just really is just perfect. If they made it any smaller, it would be too small. If they made it any bigger, it would be too big. I think they really did find a perfect size here. Now, another thing I like about this knife is the locking system. The locking system is a triad lock. I love the triad lock, as most of you probably know. And on this guy, it's not the most smooth action in the world, but at the same time, I've felt the worse, and it still works pretty well, especially for how big it is. And to my knowledge, this is actually one of the smallest triad locks you can get on the market, or at least one of the smaller knives that you can get with a triad lock. So that's pretty cool as well. Another thing I really like about this knife is actually, I've complained about this thumb stud because it's the same one that's on the Voyager, believe it or not. I think that's kind of funny. It's actually the almost same exact, I think it is actually the same exact thumb stud, so that's kind of hilarious. But this thumb stud on this guy is a whole lot more comfortable because it doesn't require a lot of force to open. It's actually quite smooth, so that's really, really nice. I actually do quite like that. Another thing I like about this knife is the weight. This actually weighs almost the same amount as, well, my key. And that's really funny because this is, you know, obviously a full metal home key. And this guy just really fits, like, it's light like a key. It's about the same size as a key when closed. It's kind of funny. It fits perfectly on a lanyard, or if you are someone who just has a big keychain, maybe just have a big keychain. Which that's another good thing I like about this knife. It fits on a keychain really, really well, and I actually am quite a fan of that. Now, another thing I like about this knife is the jimping back here. It's actually not that bad. It's quite comfortable. There's also jimping here that's also quite comfortable. It doesn't dig into the hand, but it does get your grip to lock in really well. I mean, even though this knife's really small, it still feels like I can get some good, like, cuts in there, you know? It's very nice. Another thing I like is the spear point blade. It's very nice. I am a sucker for spear points. I talk about it all the time, how much I am a sucker for spear points because of how cool they look. Especially when I talked about the Native Chief. You guys know I absolutely love the design of the Native Chief. And this guy is still pretty cool. Now, is it the most practical? No, I would say the Tanto's probably more practical. but it still works really well, and it's still razor sharp. I mean, Cold Steel really does know how to make their edges, which is another plus. This is a Cold Steel knife. Cold Steel knows how to make handles. They know how to make their edges. Now, unfortunately, when I first got this knife, this is prime reason why you don't buy off of Amazon. That was a pun, by the way. But this is a big reason why you don't buy off of Amazon. The Amazon said that these handles were G10. They are not. They are plastic. Amazon also said that the blade was S35VN. S35, it is not. That is 4034 stainless steel. Not a terrible steel, but not fantastic, and especially when compared to S35VN. So I'm going to say this real fast. This is just a disclaimer. This isn't a good or bad thing. This has nothing to do with Cold Steel. This has to do with Amazon. Do not buy off of Amazon. I'm just going to tell you guys that now. But anyways, that's everything that I like about this knife. Now I'm going to go over what I don't like about this knife. Also, sorry, I kind of got off track there. But here we go. What I don't like about this knife. Now, for starters, what I don't like is the grip is a little uncomfortable. I mean, it is like a good bite in your hand, so it's not going to slip or anything like that. But obviously, only having 2 fingers on a grip is not the single most comfortable thing in the world. But it's not that bad either. Another bad was actually something I just mentioned, which is the materials are pretty meh. They're not crazy good. 4034 stainless steel is not a fantastic steel, and plastic is obviously not as good as G10. I've talked about this before in my Tough Light videos. I am a sucker for S35 and G10. It's my favorite combo on a knife. It makes for a very comfortable handle with a very good use steel. I absolutely love it, and granted, I've been okay with you know, some cheaper materials like D2 and maybe like aluminum handles. I don't know if aluminum's necessarily cheaper than G10, but you know, I've been able to have cheaper materials on my knives, and I'm fine with it. These are just a little too cheap. I mean, this is literally just basically a better Tough Light Mini, in my opinion. You get more cutting edge, and it's actually, believe it or not, kind of feels a little more sturdy in the hand than the Tough Light Mini. But the Tough Light Mini is obviously like still in the same. I feel like these two are kind of in the same class. I feel like, you know, if you wanted a knife with a little more handle, a little more comfort, you might want to go with the Tough Light Mini. But if you want a knife with a little more blade and a little smaller, you can go with the Recon 1. And it is kind of funny, if you measure these two blades together, look how much bigger that blade is compared. So that's kind of funny. But yeah, anyways, that's pretty much all I can say about this knife. You know, I can't complain about, you know, this little ring here, because it just makes it so it's a keychain. I can't complain about there not being a pocket clip, because it doesn't need one. And I'm not going to complain about really anything else, like the fact that it doesn't have liners. It doesn't need liners. It's a, sorry, didn't mean to drop it there, but it doesn't need liners. It's a little knife that should just be used to open boxes. You're not cutting down trees with this, so that's not a big deal either. So that's pretty much all I really have to say about this guy. I can absolutely recommend this for you guys. I carry this thing every day. In fact, out of all my knives, this is one of the few knives that I carry every single day. I actually used to carry this guy every single day. This guy used to be on my keychain and might find its way back on my keychain eventually, but I just don't like how this guy doesn't lock. Makes for kind of an annoying kind of cutting experience, because I'm always scared this guy's going to close on my hands. That's why I hate knives that don't have locks. I'll probably go into that a little more when I review the Buck 283 Plus. This knife locks up and is still a good keychain knife, and is a knife that I carry every day, and I can 100% recommend this for you guys. In fact, if you're looking for a good keychain knife, a good knife that you can pull out in any situation, no one's going to be scared of it or anything like that, 100% the Micro Recon 1. Cold Steel absolutely hit it out of the park with this one. This is a home run and a half. So 100% recommend this for you guys. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and thank you.